Hello and welcome to our weekly Heartstorm call. We are going to be diving into some really fun stuff. You guys already know we use this time to connect, to build, to grow, and this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to continue the momentum we've been having. We've been having a lot of success with the group chat on for YKU. I see a lot of movement happening in there, and yeah, there's a lot of beautiful things coming for the community. So. I wanted to take today and see how you guys felt about possibly talking about AI. I think that's really relevant, and I really want to know how we can use AI to help us expand the mission and help us to grow YKU. So I wanted to tap in with you guys. And luckily I have like a really old dude who's like 73, and then super young guy about 13 or something on here. So it's gonna be great, and we're gonna be able to get a really good understanding of where AI is. Of course, we got a ghost called Sean that so yeah, I wanted to tap in with you guys to see how you listen to you guys' perspectives about AI, and especially this year. I see AI being a massive part of everything that's happening. And I wanted to hear from you guys about your perspective on it, and maybe some ways we can use it to improve the movement.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. As the 73-year-old, by the way, my bush is not gray yet. Okay.
Okay,
Getting
you
my
staying
life,
hydrated.
staying hydrated, getting that lifestyle in, gang. But before we dive into AI really quick, I just wanted to share a win with a young king who's a part of the community. Bro, he came from like a family that was a little in disarray, and he's been on most of the mastermind calls, and I know him personally, and he lives not too far from me, and the amount of work that he's done on himself is amazing. He's doing his chores at home. He got a better job. He's stable with his girlfriend. He's saving up to move out of his house, of his living with his mom, and he's really humble. He doesn't share it very much. He's working on his voice, but I wanted to share that with that win with the community. He's really doing well.
That's what we do this for. That's exactly for the young kings. This is what I mean. That's real transformation, real change, and it shows how much this is needed because a lot of young men are just isolated and they don't have any guidance. And through YKU, I believe we bring both of those to the people that need it most. And the people that need it most right now, in my opinion, is the young men all over the world. Like the very few groups are suffering more than that group. Very few groups. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful, bro. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, yeah. Really wanted to make sure and make that note. And and it's a good reminder that the practical, simple, everyday action steps really build us to the higher levels. And now as we get into AI, because AI, it like transcends all these levels so quickly. You know, I I come from a time where when I was in school, guys, like high school and middle school, like computers weren't really a big thing. We used them a little bit, and even in college. And to see the advances in technology, it's like it's almost mind blowing. It's like it's almost unfathomable in certain ways for me. So for me, what I see is that AI is to be respected, and it comes down to the user. It's a very powerful tool. And my experience is that we have to know how to work with it in a good way and work with it. And always say thank you in the chat. Okay, that always is helpful. Always say thank you, just in case, guys.
And please,
And good morning, good evening, and good night, and good afternoon. All that stuff, guys. But I what I think it can be a pitfall of it is I think that it can be easy for it to do all the thinking for you. And I find that for me, how I use ChatGPT and AI is I bring my own ideas and I use it as a reflection board. And I also have it help me do a lot of the busy work that would otherwise take me a lot of time. So that's some of my feedback on AI so far. What's on your mind, brothers?
honestly, Aaron and I spoke about this. Like we use it the same way. We use it as a sounding board. Like we use it to help us organize our ideas. But we also noticed that if you let it, it will send you into like a this weird pit of despair. Like it will send you into a million different routes. So it's important, like you said, for you to use the tool and not let the tool use you. And we've been really intentional about making sure that we're understanding the limitations of AI right now, working with it, and remembering that like we can't just allow it to think fully for us. I mean, we can, but it's important for us to choose to stay in control of how we use it. And I know for me, it's been really really helpful when it comes to organizing my thoughts and getting done a lot of the busy work that I don't have to necessarily dedicate time to. Um, but yeah, I can see how it can be a slippery slope though. I can see how it can be a slippery slope, and more people don't want to think right now. So if they can get another excuse, they're gonna use it. What do you think, Aaron? Because I know Aaron and I are talking about this all the time. So
Yeah, I think if you're not, simply put, if you're not using AI, you're falling behind. But I think it's important for AI to get a database on who you are and how you think. Um, but ultimately remembering, like you're describing, Carlos, that like we need to, before engaging with a powerful tool like AI, we need to ask, what is my intention going into this? What do I really want out of this? And something that I guess I didn't consider till now, which I think I'm going to start doing, is how many hours do I actually want to dedicate to this before or minutes, excuse me, even like 30 minutes, or because I feel like I am getting smarter by using AI for sure. But I mean, today was kind of a day where a lot of the boundaries kind of bled together. I was working on a lot of different projects today, and I have a lot of things that I'm needing to accomplish. Um, so using AI can be helpful to organize those ideas, but then ultimately taking it out of the chat, taking what you found outside of the chat. That's why for me personally, I've been enjoying just having a journal or a some sort of piece of paper right next to it, not a phone, not whatever, because especially being part of the younger generation, I see it's like, to Alex's point, right? It iterates so exponentially on the frequency. You determine the frequency, but on a yearly basis, it's insane. And then the iterations are getting quicker. So what I kind of mean by that is like noticing my own consciousness, noticing my own uh, habituated tonal patterns, and then looking at the people that we were speaking to in our generation, Carlos, people who are just a few years younger, people who are 21, people who are 19 years old. That person's only 4 years younger than me, but they're definitely developed quite differently alongside technology than I have over the course of just 4 years. My brother's 6 years behind me, from a school perspective. So he has over half a decade, which is going to be like completely, yeah, exactly, like completely different. So I guess what I really want to share, I think personally, I think ChatGPT was programmed not to not necessarily keep you on task. I think ChatGPT was programmed to be useful, but yeah, not again, just to collect data primarily, not necessarily to be there to always have your best interests in mind. And I want to make sure we're kind of on the lookout for that, whether it's a tool or whether it's people who don't necessarily have your best interests in mind, or even yourself. By the way, like that part of you that freaking um, it's that shadow side, if you want to call it that. I guess, yeah. Point is, the bottom line of what I'm sharing is that it's a tool. We know this, and it's important. I think to use the 80/20 rule. Simply put, just using the 80-20 rule, getting a lot of things done in a short period of time. We could even use the 90-10 rule, where we get 90% of the project completed, and then the final 10% we just make sure to do ourselves, or so that it's high quality and authentic to us. So that's my input, guys. Like, ChatGPT has been completely transformative for my business, but it's also been it has its own price. It has its own consequences. It has its own game, rules. So I feel very complete.
You touched on some really powerful things, bro. You really did, and I think the intention, like really, like leading with intention, I think is important because we can easily just go and like just let it kind of guide us. But being clear as to why we're using it, that's so important. That's so important. And I also to kind of rephrase what you said, the mental masturbation thing. Like there, I feel like a lot of the young men, a lot of the young people who are going to be using ChatGPT are going to be using it to just mental masturbation. I know because I have in the past, and I'm now very intentional about catching myself. I'm like, am I just freaking creating shit for no reason with no actual outcome out here? Like, what's really happening? So that's really powerful. And um, like you said, ChatGPT is still, like I see it the same way that I see social media. It's the same thing. Like it's a business, and its job is to keep you in the loop. It wants you to be on ChatGPT as long as possible. That's how they make money. They want you to keep prompting. That's how they make money. So it's crucial that I at least I like to approach it the same way that I do social media, and that includes YouTube and Instagram, all of that is social media. And knowing that at the bottom of all of this, there's a multi-billion-dollar team trying to keep me on the platform for as long as possible. And if I'm not mindful of it, it's a wrap. Like it's gonna be a really difficult thing to get out of. Um, yeah, and yeah, you share some really really awesome stuff, Aaron. Because yeah, I see so a lot of the big problems that the young men are gonna be struggling with are mainly around those, like really understanding that ChatGPT is a tool that we have control over and being clear as to what we're using it for. I think that's very very important. So I appreciate that, bro. That's real.
Yeah, because attention is the attention. We're in the attention economy. You feel me? So like, yeah, you said it really, really well. Where it's meant to keep your attention, right? But what else is it meant to do? Is to keep you confused, so you're scattered. You have all this different attention. It's our job as the young kings and the sovereign men that we are. I'll call it, to step back and be able to take control of our focus and our center. I wanted to touch base on how much it costs because you talked about money.
Mm.
Guess how much it costs ChatGPT to answer "You're welcome" to all the thank yous. The founder, Sam Altman stated that being polite in ChatGPT
That's all that.
is adding electricity costs that cost them tens of millions of dollars
So
just
I'm
by being polite.
So I'm glad you bring that up, and I'm aware of this, and that's the price we gotta pay for kindness. That we have to go the extra step, so we're not fucking robotic out here, just talking to be like, do this. Okay. I I prefer ChatGPT way more when it's conversational, when you hyping me up, when I say thank you and please. Also, we're training this thing, so like we're giving it. If he has the wrong idea about humans and he thinks that we never say please and thank you, that we're not ever kind, then that's what we're gonna get back. So I'm sorry, Sam Altman, but you're a billionaire. You're gonna have to pay that price, bro. You'll be good. You weren't a billionaire like 5 years ago, so you'll be okay. You'll be good. That's how I see it. That's how I see Aaron. I don't know if you feel me on that.
What's the saying, guys? Kill them with kindness. um, you guys, I love what we're talking about, and to relate it back to YKU, I think that this really relates back to what we're teaching in YKU. It's how to think for yourself, how to do the work for yourself, and there are times that we need assistance, there are times that we need help, but as we get into this AI age and we get into this age of information, it's I find when I'm hearing from my clients and from the young men from YKU is competence and developing yourself. That's what's going to help you stay relevant despite all of this AI, despite all this job outsourcing. And as we heard earlier on an earlier call, guys, nothing can replace the human touch. And we shouldn't really strive to replace the human touch because that's what makes us human and that's what makes society move forward. And, you know, as
So
great
I have
as
a
AI
prompt for you.
what's that?
So I have a prompt for you.
Okay.
We gotta make this. I love talking money. Like we gotta make this applicable and practical. How can people use this to their advantage, knowing that X amount of percent of industry will die off due to AI? How can people use this? How can the young kings watching this, like, how can we use this to our advantage? Because human connection isn't going away, and it's going to be, I think, more valued. Authenticity is going to be the new currency. So I guess I'll ask you guys, the old farts on the call, how can we use this? How can we use this freaking human connection and actually gain opportunity out of it instead of I guess the opposite.
I would say one of the most valuable things that we can do with tools like this, ChatGPT, is the inner work, shadow work. I think it can be a very helpful tool for shadow work and organizing your mental closet. Not to quote Relax and Awake, which you can buy on Amazon right now. And it's so important. One of the biggest issues that I see, and I work with organizations across the country, I work with professionals at the highest level, is a disorganized mental closet. There's just so much going on, and I'm talking about people that go to therapy, people that journal, people that do all of that stuff, and they're still overwhelmed. They just have so much going on, and I think one of the best things that we could do, just to kind of round it back to where the call started, is really using this platform as a mirror for us, like as a sounding board, so that we can look at our thoughts. I know that for me, even especially when I was writing about the passing of my dad, that I was going to include in my book, which is coming out Juneteenth. If if you want to go tap in, um, was to really just use the voice feature and just share that where I'm at. And then it really just allows me to see the process that I'm going through. And honestly, I like to go a step further. I like to ask her to pretend to be the people that I admire. Typically, I choose two people. I like to have a good balance. So, like for example, yesterday, like I told her to pretend to be a combination of Tony Robbins and Goggins, right? So, like very different, like more care center, more about like let's go over and get it, because that's how my business is structured. That's how I go about living my life. And then from there, I'm like, this is where I'm at right now. Give me some feedback, pretending to be both those people. And I do this all the time. Anytime that I read a new book, I ask it to run um, my plan or whatever it is that I'm working with through the strategies in this specific book or the teachings from this specific expert, and that has really allowed me to reframe a lot of my thought processes and organize my mental closet quicker than most of the things. And I'm telling you, I've tried the therapy, the journaling, I've tried the meditation, all of those things, and those things are crucial. Please do them. But I think in regards to what we're talking about here, um, shadow work, it's going to be one of the most powerful things we can use it for. Um, that from my perspective.
Wow. Wow. I want to feed that back into kind of what Alex was saying. Because that's powerful as fuck, dude. It's powerful as fuck. We're talking about shadow work using AI to help us integrate parts of ourselves. And yeah, to Alex's point, really, I think what he was sharing is the thing we can really develop more than anything. What I heard was the word conviction or um, skill
Confidence.
set,
Confidence.
competence. It was a C word. Do you
Conviction
mind
feels that
elaborating
goes with
more?
it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, would you mind elaborating a little on that?
Oh yeah, guys. This has been a big word of mine recently. So my whole motto is that be so good they can't ignore you. Be so good they can't ignore you. Do the things that nobody else will do, and that's a combination of working smart and hard. Be that person. And competence is self development. It's the number one success indicator, in my very, very humble opinion and my professional experience. And it's the person who's really willing to do that work and put themselves out there and develop themselves that's going to really ultimately help be your biggest indicator for success. And that's what I think is so beautiful about America. And I think I heard Jordan Peterson saying that one time. We live in the freest society on the planet, and let competence be your guide to really outshine your competition. So, you can be a master at AI and you could be a master at Chat GPT, but when push comes to shove and you're on the court, bro, can you walk the walk and can you talk the talk?
You
And that's
a
going to
bitch!
quickly show.
Tell him!
So you fucking moving the boats or what?
Or are you a little bitch?
Somebody got to carry the boats. Somebody carry the boats, and like talking about like motos. Like for me, the next 10 years is all about promoting independence, right? That's really what all of the work that I'm doing is centered around promoting independence in the different populations that I work with. And one of the crucial things for independence is competence. Like there's no independence without competence. If you're not competent in life skills, if you're not competent in different areas, independence is almost unachievable. It's almost unachievable. So a lot of the work that we're doing with YKU, with my consulting business, with the work that I'm doing with Rights for Inclusion is about promoting independence through competence. And I think ChatGPT and all of the other AI tools that we use are going to be so crucial in helping us, um, you know, help equip people so they can really build that competence. It's so crucial right now because right now a lot of people they just don't want to know. Like you don't have to know most things. Like you don't have to be competent on most things. You just can just delegate it. But it shit goes down and things stop working. So if you don't have skills that are going to help you to navigate the challenges and the transitions through life, if you're just depending on other things and other people to do it, you're going to be fucked. And there's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Yeah. Dude, I that is the big message, and that's really been the big message since COVID. Is that people want their freedom, and freedom comes at a cost. And people think that freedom is just given. It's not. It's not. We need to work for it, and as you said, it requires competence. It requires strong men. It requires thinkers and intelligence. Because if not, we get in our own way, guys. And like what and I've been saying this has been a theory for all you young kings to really think about is it's about internalizing your power. This is what YKU's cornerstone is internalizing your power and being in your power. And if we are externalizing our power to things that we are not aware of, we become slaves. And
Yes,
and
we're
it's
giving our power.
and it's in that emotional and that mental plane. And I heard this one time, our boy James, he said this quote to me the other day, a few months ago, when I was going through it with my brother passing. He's like, we become victims to our environment if we're not conscious. If we're not conscious to our environment, we become victims. So to that point, like we need to actually be open to knowing and embrace chaos as a lover so that we can develop our competence and look at the truth and the facts as opposed to falling victim to our emotions and our thoughts and our opinions. We cooking today, guys? We cooking? What we cooking
Oh, I'm
up?
gonna let that
What we cooking
marinate.
up?
I'm gonna let that one marinate, bruh. Oh, that's
I gotta
juicy.
find the cooking emoji. Give me a sec.
While you're looking for it, I had so many things come up. The word you used the word Alex freedom. Carlos used the word independence. I love these words, and I think vocabulary is so powerful. I think language is limiting, and we can almost label something with multiple different labels to get a clear angle at it. I think another word that is really helpful can be personal autonomy. Like ultimately, I think everybody is looking for. Hey, he found it. He found it. He wasn't lying.
Drop the gem so I can drop it. You drop the gem. Because personal autonomy, bro, that's the name of the game, bro.
Straight
More
up.
of us do not want to understand how important that is. Like, preach on it, bro. Preach
And
on it.
that's why I named my company Own Your Brilliance, for this very reason, because we're owning our power. We're owning our light. What's another word for light? Truth. What's something that has been a big part of my journey has been really difficult to own my truth. Really, really difficult for me to feel like people would understand it or accept it or validate it or whatever. But it doesn't matter, because we got to learn, each of us, to own our brilliance, own our light, own our truth. And I love how you're just embracing chaos as a lover, because that's the last thing I want to put in there, is because, as a high performer, high achiever, I rose through the ranks of like 2 companies. I ended up being the top performer there the second month in. Not once, twice. Why? My story is all about going from chaos to coherence. I'm really fucking good at performing under chaos and under stress. But guess what happened? That made me a stress achiever. So that's why I think the work that we're doing, the work that Carlos does with Relax and Awake, is fucking brilliant, because it's helping those stress achievers who are used to having such high standards, as we talked about earlier in the call, to actually achieve those standards or lower them until they can up them. Because right now, a lot of my people I see are like up here with their standards, but their ability is right here because they're so burnt out. They need to learn how to relax, and freaking own their truth. I think there's nothing more liberating. Liberation is another word for freedom. Liberating, freedom. There's nothing more in owning your independence than that. Is to own your truth, own who you are, and fucking be it. Fucking be the light, baby. Yeah.
Yo, dude, you know what's really interesting about the word liberation? In Latin, liber means free, and it also means book. So, to go back to you young kings out there, it's all about that education. That is the key that unlocks all doors, all the locks, and it opens up all the cages that we're dealing with. And the cages mainly that we're dealing with now are the mental and the emotional cages. And to go back to your point, Aaron, we actually owe it to ourselves to own our brilliance, because when we do, and we own our brilliance with integrity, because there's no other way to do that, naturally we reflect that out into the world, and we show up in our best way possible for others. And that's what real purpose is, and that's what real impact is in the community. So you owe it to yourself to do that work. You owe it to yourself in your community if you really want to make a difference. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who like, the government needs to change, this needs to change, and that needs to change. But it's like, no, bro, you need to change
Be the
first.
change you wish
Be
to
the
see.
change. Be the change. And then when we are the change, we naturally move into that with others, and we can actually be an impact with others. And that's really what we're doing here, guys. That's what we're doing here on the call with the Kings, is sharing all this so that you guys can really step into your brilliance. And the other word, one more word, because man, this call has been all about words. The one call that we have all these words. Sean's not here. Who'd have thought?
He's gonna lose this shit, bro.
Dude, you got to give him the best FOMO after this.
Dude, he's so low key chill. He's like, "Oh, that's great. I'm really happy for you guys." He's like, Sean, motherfucker. He's a Jedi at that. But the word is interdependence. Interdependence.
Tell me about it. Let's go. Let's go.
So interdependence is having a sense of independence and also collaborating with others around us. Interdependence. So it's us and then others. And I like thinking of it as a hierarchy. It's we take care of our house, we make our bed first, we take care of our personal health, and then we can actually be of impact to others and actually put it out there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And it's like this massive thing now where there's this promotion of isolation and full independence, and you got to do this on your own and do all that stuff. And nothing massive, nothing that's been legendary has been created by one person. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And honestly, like right now, I'm reading the book Exponential Organizations. And one of the books within it that they talk about is the lean entrepreneur. Well, the lean startup. That's the name of the book. Really, really amazing book. I was actually listening to it today before I continue with exponential organizations because it's recommended to doing so. And one of the things that they talk about is the definition of entrepreneur. So if you can let me share, I'm gonna just share it on my Google search so you guys can see what an entrepreneur is all about, and how the definition that they use in the lean startup is so powerful. It's so powerful. Let me know when I can share my screen on tonight.
Oh yeah, right on, man. By the way, we got another king who joined us. Ken, thanks for joining us today, man.
And I believe that's East Coast Ken, because we have West Coast Ken, but I think that's East Coast Ken because usually it's Kenneth. We see like West Coast Ken. Let
You're
me
all
know.
you're all good to share, brother.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is a really, really, really awesome um definition. And just really highlights some of the so powerful. So you guys see my screen yet? Or
Hold on
No,
a
I
sec.
can't see it.
Yeah,
okay.
we can't see you. Hold on, baby. Hold on.
You know I don't have that patience. I think I gotta wait for it to count down. Oh, okay. Now we're going. Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
So yeah, so in the lean startup, this is how they define entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are someone who creates startups, which he defines as human institutions that create new products or services under conditions of extreme uncertainty. And that's the part that I wanted to touch on. Conditions of extreme uncertainty. And I cannot think of a situation or a condition of more extreme uncertainty than the AI age that we're living in right now. And and that's where we come in, right? Like that's really where we come in. I think that we're currently in that season where most people are experiencing massive uncertainty, and I know because I'm connected to companies who are doing millions and millions of dollars, and I'm coaching them, and I see how terrified a lot of the owners are, and I see how much concern they're going through because we're currently in that season. But out of that season, a lot of amazingness can happen if we lean into it. If we really embrace the uncertainty and befriend it and embrace it, because there's so much power in it. Like we can think about 100 years back, like there was so much uncertainty, but there's so much opportunity that arise through that. So we can get caught up in the uncertainty and the chaos, right? Or we can really use this season as a way to create brand new movements and and products that will really shift the way that humanity moves.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because to your point, guys, I have my hands in a lot of communities and like all different ages, shapes, sizes, and colors, and this is transcending all those boundaries. And it reminds me the first thing that Troy says is the rainbow people in the Native American tradition. It's everyone is going to be coming together, and everybody has this opportunity. So I think that with all that potential, we have this potential to transcend into new levels, and I think that that's beautiful. And I think that this is it. I think we're in like a position of humanity can do things that it's never been able to do before, ever. And like like I don't think there's anything new under the sun, but there's new expressions of the same concepts and principles. And I think we're approaching this. I mean, guys, look at this. We've built a bona fide project together. You guys are in Arizona, we're in Illinois, and like we're connecting with people all across the United States. I mean, we got brothers from the East Coast to the West Coast to DR, and like we couldn't do that before unless you had a carrier pigeon or a freaking or you had snail mail. Back when I was a kid. So it's blessed times, guys, and it reminds me of how connected we can truly be. And with great power comes great responsibility. We can't forget that, brothers.
I agree, brother. I agree. And honestly, I feel like this call. Oh yeah, Ken from Jersey. That's right. Um, so East Coast Ken. Um,
Dude.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I feel I feel pretty complete. Honestly, I feel like this call was very powerful. And you know, like we're gonna keep doing this every week, like as we all committed to. So that's gonna be fun. And I'll be in the East Coast next week, so I'll be tapping in different time zone. But trust me, I'll be tapped in, and we're gonna make this happen because it really is that season. I know we all can feel that shift happening. And honestly, like I spoke to Ken as well, like it's time sensitive. It really is. And AI makes it even more so. AI makes it even more so. So it's important for us to tap in with urgency, but clarity. Not just moving out of fear, but out of actual intention and strategy. That's the last thing I want to share before we jump off. How about you, gentlemen? What else would you want to share before we jump off?
I think you nailed it, bro. I think you nailed it. I'm not going to take away from what you said.
God did.
Guys, as usual, it's been really a great blessing to move as a unit together. It's nice to see your didn't though we didn't see your face today, Ken. Thanks for tuning in, man. The recording will be available on the YKU page, so please tune in to the beginning part of the call. But um, these calls, they really leave me optimistic, even more than I already am. So we can really transmute all this information, this knowledge, this information, all into action. And as usual, Kings, it's always an honor and a blessing to chop it up with y'all.
So it's a pleasure. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys next week. I'm excited for the monthly mastermind June 1st too. That's gonna be freaking legendary. Let's go.
Dude, the last one, damn. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, dude.
we could.
I
We
had
could.
goosebumps, man. I had goosebumps.
I got so many messages after that one, bro. Somebody would reach out to me. He's like, bro, that was so good. Like, that's how you know we did something good. That's how you know. I always suspect the messages after. That's how I know. That my and yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see you guys next week, same time. Tap into the school community. Make sure you grab your blueprint. If you're already in the school community, you have access to the blueprint. So just go to the classroom and go tap into those resources. It's just gonna really help you to organize your thoughts and really attack this new season that we're coming into, so that you can be prepared and actually tackle whatever challenges AI and the world might throw at you. With that being said, yeah, no, it's all love. Let's rise together. Let's keep going and growing.
Peace out, Kings.